What's up, everyone? This is Bill with BLRTUNING. Today's watch. This is another Invicta C3PO. Really cool little collector's item there. Little homage to Star Wars. See, he's got C3PO sitting in there in yellow gold. He's all raised up inside there. Really cool watch when you see it in person. Anyway, I got a little video for you guys. This is going to be for the Kawasaki ZH2. We have our 2023 ZH2 Athena that we're going to be working on. And we already lowered the front about a ½ inch. We're now going to lower the rear just a little bit, try to balance, level it out, and get it to where we can touch the ground a little better. So Brock's Performance, that's where these are from. So I picked these up from Brock's Performance. I believe they were around like $159 before tax and shipping and all that. There's your part number right there. They fit the ZH2, the Ninja H2, and the H2SX. So they fit quite a few different models. They are chunky, like you can see how big they are. But what is cool is that they are adjustable on the bike. So you're going to need to do some finagling and get the back end up on some jack stands so you can take the weight off of the swing arm. So we have the bike up on a rear lift. We'll get some jack stands under it. Maybe have a friend stand out here and hold that front end so it doesn't fall over on you. It's kind of a chore to get it situated just right because how big that exhaust from the factory is. You know, and if you have an aftermarket exhaust, you don't want to damage that aftermarket exhaust. So it's kind of a pain to get it up on the lift on the rear end. If you have a ratchet strap and a rafter, that might be a little more stable to hold it. But nonetheless, we're going to knock it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out to the bike. We're going to get it up in the air. We're going to pull the factory ones off, bring them to the bench. We're going to make sure that these are the same size as the factory ones, lengthwise. Then we're going to bolt these on, and then we will adjust on the bike how high or how low we want the bike to go. When you spread these out and stretch these out further away from each other, that would essentially lower the bike. When you squeeze them in closer, that will raise the bike up in the air. Okay? So I believe these can go, I think they said like 1 inch, something like that, 1.5 inch maybe. But it does say in the instructions to make sure that you can see threads in the window here. So that's why they're called the window linkage. You see they got a little window cut in there, and you can see the threads from the bolt going through. So you want to be able to make sure you can see threads there. You wouldn't want to go out past that. And you want to keep them even when you install it. Loosen the lock nut right here and right here. You spin this. One way will push it out. You can see it says lower. Okay, lower. So you spin it this way, that would lower it. Spin it the other way, that'll raise it. Okay, so let's head over to the bike, show you what we got to get done here. We'll open these up. We'll get the old ones off, and start lowering the bike. And we do have instructions. They have it so you can print them out on their website. Okay, or you can download them to your smartphone. Okay guys, so this is our 2023 Kawasaki ZH2, nicknamed Athena, that we're going to be working on. We have lots of stuff going on with this bike. We have a box full of parts to install. Okay, and you come down here, you can see here, so right there on the edge of the oil pan and the frame is where we're going to go. On the other side, if we go look, we need to take out this plastic here, which is 3 4mm Allen bolts. So we'll take that out so we can get it out of our way, and then we should be able to get back here where that bolt is. And the linkages we're going after are those right there, that piece that goes across. Okay, but we have to get the weight off the rear end to do so. Okay, so give me a minute and I'll show you how the setup looks. Okay, so we have the bike up in the air. You see where I went with. Right there. These are out of the way. Okay, and we need these linkages off now. You tell me why Kawasaki decided to run the bolt through on the other side, right here. That bolt ran through the other side. You would have to remove the exhaust, but we do have access to the one above it. So we're going to loosen this bolt up here, pull it out. That will drop this, and then we'll be able to get that nut and bolt out. We can get the nut off no problem, but we cannot pull the bolt out because it's nice and long and it'll hit the exhaust. And then we need the one in the front on the linkage also. So we need that guy right there. Okay, that one we can get out from the other side. I wish they would have put the bolts through on this side, because as you can see, one there, one there. It would be the easiest job in the world. But I suppose if it was easy, well, you know how it goes. Anyway, it's not easy. It's not hard, but it's just going to take a little more work to get it out. Okay, so we need to get these are 14 mil. So we need to get a 14 millimeter wrench on one side and the other, crack them loose. We're going to pull that guy there and that one up in the front. This will all drop down. Rear tire is off the ground. Just be careful. You don't want to knock this over. Maybe have somebody out here with you. Okay. Okay, guys, here's the torque specs. So, rocker arms. Okay, that's the upper rocker arm we're going to have to disconnect. 25 foot-pounds, shock absorber nut, 25 foot-pounds. You're not going to be taking that off of there. And then the tie rod or dog bones. So that's going to be these guys here, or your new Brock's Performance lowering linkage, 43 foot-pounds. Okay, so that is your torque specs you'll be able to refer to. You can screenshot that if you'd like. Okay, so I had my wife come out here and help with the getting those bolts out, because you do have to hold a wrench on both sides. It's not the easiest. It's I don't want to say it's hard. You need help. You're gonna need a friend. Okay, keep in mind when you open your Brock's Performance window linkage, you have these little spacers in there. Okay, they need to go back in there. And then you'll see I marked left, right. This is towards the bike. So on the left-hand side, if we're sitting on the bike, you'll see the part number there would be in the downward position like this. And then the right side like this. Okay, so I just marked it right and left so I know which one's which. And now same thing here. Okay, so this side is now going to be the left. You can see there, points down, lower. Then this side is going to be on the right. It'll be pointing up, lower. Okay, got it. Now we're going to put the spacers back in here, and we're going to line these up. You could even put a bolt through this. And we want these to be identical. Okay? So we're going to hold these, spin this until we get these identical with where the bike was at, stock, and then we can lower it on the bike. Or if you're gonna install it with them longer, you need to make sure that these are identical. Okay, I can't tell you the math as to how much longer you make this will make the bike a certain amount lower. I don't know. We're gonna find that out. But you definitely want to make sure you are precise here. We'll get a caliper and measure our space in between here, so we know exactly that they are the same before we put them on the bike. Then once we get them where we want them, you'll tighten down these jam nuts against the linkage, and that would lock this all in place. We will back these up a little bit and throw some blue Loctite underneath those nuts right there. Okay. And then you can throw some blue Loctite in here on these threads as well. In the instructions, it does say to put blue Loctite on all threads. So that's what we're going to do. So let me get that all lined up. Let me go show you real quick the bike. Okay, so you'll see what we had to do here when we took it apart. We had to get the top bolt out back here. That one. Then we had to take the top bolt there out from there. That dropped that down so we could get that bolt out. Kind of crazy that you got to do it that way, but legit, that's what you got to do. Okay. So now, we just got to make sure you mark all your bolts. The way we marked it is we marked it F for the front, and then R for the rear on the linkages, and then a U on the head of the bolt for the upper one. Okay, remember these are needle bearings in here. Be very careful. Don't damage them. You can see here's our 3 bolts. We marked them so we know which one came out of where. Okay, we'll be putting them all back the same. The nuts are the same on each side, or on all 3. Okay, so now let's get our linkage pieces on, and you are going to have to hold the a little bit of pressure on the rear tire, up in the air a little bit, while you have someone help feed those nuts or the bolts through. It's just what you're gonna have to do, okay? Okay, so one of the things that'll make it a little easier for you, get the other linkage on. You can see where it says Brock's Performance. We put that one in the back. Same on this side. So it's gonna go like this. We measured from the edge of this black to the edge of the black, 74.5 millimeter. Make it much easier when you put that linkage on that side, feed the bolts through, put your spacers on. So you can see we have the spacers on there already, right here. Okay, and then the wrenches that you're gonna need is a, was that 5/8? Yeah, 5/8, and that's to be able to grab hold of this guy. So you need a 5/8, 1/2 inch, and 11/16. So keep that in mind. And then I'll show you here when we get this one slid on. Then we'll just snug the bolts up. We're not going to tighten nothing yet. And then we're going to have someone lift up on the rear and feed the bolt, line this up, and feed that bolt through. Be careful not to push anything out of here. Come through the other side and take your time doing it. Okay, then it'll all be lined up. Then we'll torque our bolts down to torque spec. Then we'll adjust our lowering links where we want them and test our ride height and everything. Once we find final ride height, we're going to snug these down. We did unthread everything and put some blue Loctite in there on all the threads. Okay, so let me get this all situated. Okay, so we got the bike back up on the bike stand. We have all of our bolts torqued to torque spec, and our Brock's Performance lowering links are installed. So before we put them on there, we kind of locked them in just a little bit, but not super tight, to 74.5. That's where we went with. That's about that much longer than the stock factory ones. We're going to see where that sits us. Then we can bring it up or lower it if we need to. But once we're done, remember, don't ride the bike without those being tight. Okay, tighten that. Hold the middle and tighten those jam nuts. Remember, one is going to be left-hand thread. Okay, so you hold the middle, tighten the jam nuts. That's how you would lock them down to each other. Okay, the goal is to tighten that nut against the black piece. Okay, so we'll get it off the stand. We'll see how it feels when I sit on it, and then we'll go from there. So we got the lowering links on there. I'll walk you around the bike and we'll let you check that out. We're figuring we probably lowered the bike about maybe a little over a 1/2 inch in the rear now. Okay, and we lowered the front, and that helped a little, and now we're on lowered rear. So I'm not perfectly flat-footed, but you can see right there I'm flat-footed on both sides. If I was sitting at the light with my foot on the brake, easily flat-footed. Okay, so right there, it's comfortable. I don't want to lower it any more than that because I don't want to hinder the performance of the bike. You know, when you do this stuff, you can really change the way the bike handles and everything. Did take it for a little rip. Everything feels fine. So that's where we're going to live with it. So again, your torque specs, the linkage bolts are 45 foot-pounds. So the linkage nuts right here are 45 foot-pounds. And then the upper guy that we pulled out is 25. That's this one here, 25 foot-pounds. Okay. And then we had to use our wrenches. We hold on to the black, tighten the nut. So hold on to the black with a wrench. You'll see flat spots in it where you can hold. Tighten the nut. Then we measured this side with a caliper, and then we took and cut a piece of a straw to the exact same size, so it's easier to fit on that other side because the other side is really hard to measure. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and get us a kickstand because we are not leaning very much on the kickstand. Like, it's tall. It's sitting upright, and I want it to lean more than that. So we will order ourselves a Brock's Performance lowered kickstand. They're expensive, but they are top of the line. I think they're a couple $100, $300. So anyway, we'll do that in another video. But that's the bike for now. So anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and huge shout out to my wife for helping putting up with some BS, because this, I needed some help. Anyways, thanks for subscribing. And then we got this guy caught red-handed. Caught in action. Look at him with his head down. He knows he's trying to sneak out here. You see Mama. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. That's Ghost. In case you haven't met him. Ghost, can you say hi? Yeah, he's like, I'm trying to leave. I'll catch you guys in the next one. It's starting to rain. Peace. Thanks for watching.